TV, Information Powerhouse.
Hello, you're watching LOY TV. I'm Nishant Agarwalla. Today I have someone who has held one of the prominent posts in our judicial system. He was enrolled as an advocate 45 years ago and he has practiced in Karnataka High Court and the Supreme Court of India. He has also served as the permanent judge of Karnataka High Court for 9 years and 4 months. Justice H N Nagamohan, welcome to LOY TV, sir.
Thank you.
So coming to the questions right away, the number of total judges sanctioned in all the 25 high courts is 1,114, and as of June 1st, 2023, 326 of the seats, about 29%, are vacant. So what could be the possible explanation for this, and do you think this number of judges are enough when the number of pending cases are increasing?
Firstly, the number of judges are less in India. In Europe and in Western world, for every 1 million population, there are 100 to 130 judges. Whereas in India, for every 1 million population, we are having 21 judges. Therefore, there is need to increase the strength of judges at least to 50 for every million, and that is to be done forthwith. Secondly, the process of appointment of judges is very cumbersome, very complicated. That is to be simplified, and in advance the process of recruitment of judges has to commence. We know when a judge is appointed on which date he is going to retire. In that case, at least 1 year before the retirement of a particular judge, that post should be notified, process is to be started, and recruitment is to be simplified, and we have to fill the way.
So the former Law Minister of India, Kiran Rijiju, said a total of 4.92 crore cases are pending across all the courts in India. Cases take a long time in courts is well-known fact. Why so, and what can be done to solve it?
Firstly, the statement made by then Union Law Minister is correct. One. Secondly, why these cases are piling up? After India became independent, we have improved the literacy rate. We have created legal awareness. Public are aware of their rights and injustice done to them. They are coming to the courts for protection of their rights and for justice. This is a good development. But this number of cases, if it is required to be disposed as early as possible, is one of the challenges before the country's Indian judicial system. We have to address this issue. For this, as already I told you, more number of judges are required. Vacancies are to be filled up immediately. Procedure laws are to be amended. Alternative dispute resolution mechanism is to be explored. And lastly, we the litigants in this country have to change their temperament and cooperate for early disposal of the cases. If we take these measures, definitely we can deliver as early as possible, quickly, to the expectations of common man, the justice delivery system.
So you have held the constitution above everything. In multiple occasions you have said that the country's problem can be solved by proper understanding of the constitution. Can you please elaborate on this topic?
Firstly, our country became independent in 1947. By accepting the world's biggest written constitution, India became republic in 1950. In these 73 years of Republic of India, we have made some achievements. The entire land mass from Kashmir to Kanyakumari was brought under one particular rule only after Indian constitution came into force. In our constitution, we have abolished feudal system. In its place, we have established democratic institutions like legislative, executive, and judiciary, and this is no small achievement. In 1947, our literacy rate was less than 18%. Today, our literacy rate is 80%. Then, 70% of India's population were below poverty line. Today, we have brought down to 20%. Then our agriculture production was 50 million tons per annum in the entire country. Today, we have taken up to 308 million tons. Today, India is self-sufficient in food production. Then we were importing food. Today, we are in a position to export food. All these achievements is because of Indian Constitution. In the field of space technology, information technology, atomic energy, service sector, Indian defense, Indian agriculture production, India is one in top 10 in the world. All it has been possible because of Indian Constitution. In India, women and Dalits were treated as secondary rate citizens. After India became republic, we have seen a women president, women prime minister, chief ministers, central ministers, state ministers, ambassadors, governors. Tell me an area where women and Dalits have not entered. Judiciary they have entered, executive they have entered, legislative they have entered, science and technology they have entered, education they have entered. They have enriched every field. All these achievements had been possible because of Indian judiciary. And therefore, I firmly believe that today we are having problems and also challenges. To solve the problems and to combat the challenges, in my humble opinion, constitutional path alone is the right path. Some people say Constitution is the reason for our problems and for our challenges. I do not subscribe to that. The fault lies not in the Constitution. The fault lies within us. We fail to read our Constitution, understand our Constitution, and live up to the constitutional expectation and values.
So you had submitted a report to the state government asking for an increase in reservation. According to Legal Service India's journal, reservations were initially introduced for a period of 10 years. Don't you think it has become a nightmare for the unreserved category right now?
There are two things. In our Constitution, political reservation is one part, educational and employment reservation is another part. This 10-year ceiling specified in the Constitution applies only to the political reservation. Constitution do not specify any time limit insofar as educational reservation and employment reservation. This is number one clarification. Second, in India, I give one small example in the area of employment. Out of total employment generation, 98% of employment is in private sector where there is no reservation. Only 2% of employment opportunities are available in government and public sector. Even in this 1%, 2%, 1% is meant for general category. Remaining only 1% out of 100 employment opportunities are made available to the reservation. This reservation of 1% is for scheduled castes, scheduled tribes and all OBCs who constitute 76% of India's population. Therefore, when 99% are available for open competition, how merit suffers? What is meant by merit? Is it marks alone? No. Merit means A person, how he responds to the needs of common man, how he handles the crisis, how he makes attempts to reach the benefits of government to the deserving sections. That is merit. For that, marks alone is not the criteria. Therefore, say for example, some students ask me wherever I go in the interaction program, sir, it is okay at the entry level if reservation is provided. Why reservation in promotion? When I answer this question, they say, all right, sir, let there be some creamy layer. Why creamy layer is applied only to the backwards of OBCs and not to the SCs and STs? When I answered that question, they ask a question. Sir, then there is no space for merit in your system? I asked them. A student who secures 35-40% marks and pays donation and capitation, buys a medical seat, buys an engineering seat, what happens to your merit? Then student has no answer. When you sell the seats for payment, merit will not count. When you give for poor and backward who scores little less, then merit comes. No, this is not the correct way of dealing this situation. Therefore, for the present, reservation has to continue. But I am telling you, reservation is not the final solution to the problem of illiteracy, to the problem of unemployment, to the problem of higher education in India. We have to create more educational opportunities, more employment opportunities, and see that all deserving youth in the country entitled for education as well as employment. The focus should be on that. The government shall make right to education a fundamental right, right to employment a fundamental right. Through that, improve the opportunities made accessible to all deserving sections in the society.
So the number of sedition cases since 2014 have increased by 28%. Do you think the sedition law can be changed or at least repealed right now?
See, firstly, when Britishers were ruling this country, against the British government, freedom movement started. To snub the freedom movement, Britishers adopted three important measures. One is divide and rule policy. Second, they have adopted is torture, violence, pain, suffering. Third, they adopted is bringing draconian laws. Sedition, criminal contempt of court, and criminal defamation are the three laws brought by the Britishers during their regime to suppress the freedom movement and the voice of liberation. Unfortunately, we have continued these three draconian laws after India became independence. In these 75 years, these laws are more abused than used. That is the reason why today there are a number of cases and we see incident after incident abusing these laws. Therefore, it is not appropriate in a democratic society, in an independent country, in a constitutional country, where we are a signatory to the human rights, to continue these draconian laws. Therefore, I always advocated to put an end and to remove these draconian laws from the law book. Therefore, sedition must go, criminal contempt must go, and also criminal defamation must go.
So can you explain the collegium system for our viewers? And there have been a question of lack of transparency in this system.
Yes. Before 1990, in the matter of appointment of judges to the constitutional courts, that is, high courts and supreme court, there was upper hand to the executive. The executive did not properly use their power. They abused their power in the matter of appointment of judges, elevation of judges, promotion of judges, and transfer of judges. Then a voice came that we have to emerge an independent body to deal the situation. That is how the demand for National Judicial Commission came into the force. When people of the country were debating National Judicial Commission, the Supreme Court, in one judgment, that we call it as Judges Judgment 1. In that judgment, Supreme Court said that the President of India has to nominate the judges to the higher courts only when Chief Justice of India gives his consent. Second judgment came. Whether Chief Justice alone is the person? No. A committee of 5 judges in the Supreme Court, a committee of 3 judges in the High Court, they becomes the collegium. Third judgment says it is the say of collegium that is to be respected and the president is to be appointed and government has no say in this. This is how the collegium system came. Now, collegium system also failed us. Judges appointing their own children, judges appointing who are corrupt people, judges appointing judges who are not qualified, who are not fit to occupy the position. Apart from that, judges appointing judges of only upper caste. There is no proper representation to the entire country, entire state, and different sections of the society. In addition to that, there was no consistency. In one case, the Supreme Court collegium said that this candidate that is recommended for appointment of a High Court judge has no income tax returns, therefore we don't appoint him. But in another case, the very same collegium said that filing income tax returns is not the measure to measure the caliber of a lawyer. In one case, they rejected the appointment of a judge on the ground that is less than 45 years. In another case, they appointed a candidate who is just 38 years. See, this type of approach, the collegium system failed us. Therefore, people again started demanding a National Judicial Commission. That is how in 2015, National Judicial Commission bill came. But in that bill, again the legislative gave an upper hand to the executive. That is the reason why the Supreme Court in 2017 quashed that bill. As a result, now we are following the earlier collegium system. Even this earlier collegium system is unacceptable insofar as I am concerned. Recently, Law Minister made a statement. Between 2018 and 2022, 537 judges are appointed to different high courts. Out of 537, 79% judges are belonging to upper caste in this country. This is no social justice. This is no reflection of true India. Therefore, we need an independent body for appointment of judges, transfer of judges, and promotion of judges, and taking disciplinary action against judges. This independent body neither shall give an upper hand to the judiciary nor to the executive. This independent body shall function according to a codified rules or guidelines. That codified rules or guidelines, whatever the name that you may call, must provide space for merit, provide space for social justice, provide space for the real who understands and upholds and implements the constitutional imperatives. This is what is required.
There is a recent lot of sayings when it comes to the media report of taking on the criminals that justice must not only be done, it should be seen to be done, and a lot of encounters are encouraged by the people and it is shown in media headlines. You as a judge of court of law, how do you see it?
See, the criminal jurisprudence in our country has laid down certain principles. A person is not, an accused is not guilty until the guilt is proved. Second principle is the burden of proving the guilt is on the prosecution. If an element of doubt is there in proving the guilt, that element of doubt shall go to the accused. Lastly, it says, let 99 culprits go unpunished, but no innocent person be punished. This is the criminal jurisprudence that we have adopted and we are following. One. Now, in many number of cases in this country, real culprits are escaping the punishment is a fact. But why this is happening? Firstly, there is a defect in our investigation. There is a defect in our prosecution method. There are defects in law. And there is also need for sensitization of judges and lawyers. If we improve all these methods, definitely our conviction rate will go, real culprits will be punished.
So as a judge in the court of law, it's not easy. Several instances where judges were attacked has occurred. Has something like this ever occurred to you?
No, not at all.
So,
in fact, not only incidents like this, in my 9.5 years service as a judge, no lawyer quarreled with me. Neither I quarreled with any lawyer.
So you are in the field of law for over 45 years now. What is that one thing you like most about the Indian judicial system?
See, Indian judicial system for all these years not only resolved the disputes between individual and state. Indian judiciary interpreted the laws in favor of the common man. Indian judiciary developed common law jurisprudence. Indian judiciary built its own native jurisprudence. It saved the constitution. It upheld the basic features of the constitution. Because of public interest litigation, the doors of which are open to the common man, resulted in exposing several scandals, bringing to the book several executives who abused their power, who are corrupt. It also protected the environment, protected the human rights. In this way, the Indian judiciary has the proud things to say in serving the people. But at the same time, Indian judiciary committed mistakes. I am not saying that there is no mistakes on the part of judiciary. In the field of social justice, in the matter of protecting some of the judgment in protecting the democratic institutions, there are certain mistakes. But one happy thing is, whenever the courts realize the mistake done by them, they are correcting the mistakes and moving forward. That is the happiest thing that I notice.
So thank you so much, sir, for joining us in LOY TV. So if you would like to say, like, how was your experience coming here?
No, I always enjoyed coming to the Loyola College. The staff and students are very happy about my lecture. They patiently hear, calmly sit and involve in my lecture. They always had a good interaction program with me. And I really, apart from curriculum, regular curriculum, these type of activities in any educational institutions is very much necessary and more necessary in today's atmosphere. That this college is doing. I congratulate the principal, the staff and the students of Loyola College.
Thank you so much all the viewers for joining us in this episode of talking with some of the prominent figures in LOY TV. Thank you for watching.
LOY TV, Information Powerhouse.